remember what's important. So my heart rate rarely goes up, even under really extreme circumstances. And that's about it. I try to balance my life as best I can. I don't go through airport scanners as much as I can and have x-rays, these little things.
Do you think those are bad for you? The new ones, aren't they like a radio wave?
Yeah, they're millimeter radio waves. I don't want to take any chances, and also don't want to freak people out. But the old style ones that were banned in Europe first, they were potentially damaging. X-rays definitely try not to have as many as you can.
But flying is just as bad as an X-ray, isn't it?
Well, that's the problem. I was going through a scanner, and I said I don't want to go through the scanner, and they got quite upset because it's a bother. But they said, it's just as much damage to your body as the flight. And so I said, why do I want to double it? Anyway, so I go through scanners, but I try not to. But let me tell you why I think it's so bad. Because scanners are going to change what we call the epigenome. Now, a lot of people haven't heard of the epigenome. The genome, everybody knows, it's your DNA, the code of life. The epigenome is what regulates and reads those genes at the right time. Okay, and so we knew about DNA. We know how to read the genome pretty easily. We can do that now on a Mars bar-sized device in a day. The epigenome is quite different. The epigenome is the structure of how the DNA is looped around. If you look at the chromosome, you're not seeing the genome. You're really basically seeing the epigenome. And what I think is causing aging is not that you're losing the DNA structure. You're not having mutations. You're actually changing the epigenome, which is the reader of the genes. So put it another way, compact disc. Okay, for the young audience, compact discs are little things we used to put music on. But anyway, these are digital information, of course. And the reason we switch to digital in the first place is that it's very copyable and it doesn't wear out. Whereas a cassette tape, people our age know that if you try to copy that 1,000 times, there's not much left at the end. So the compact disc information is the genome. The epigenome is the reader of the CD, that little laser that goes around. And what I think is causing aging is not the loss of the digital information, but it's the reader, the analog part. And that's like a cassette tape that eventually runs out. So what's going on really is that your cells are losing the ability to read the right genes the way they did when you were 20. And that's basically noise, informational noise that gathers over time. And so what we end up with when we're 80 is a compact disc or a DVD that's scratched. So the reader cannot read the right genes at the right time. And the cells become dysfunctional. Now what we're working on is how do you polish that CD or that DVD to get that information back again? And if you could do that, I think that's really the best way to reset your age. And we haven't polished it yet, but we're working on ways to actually reset that genome and actually get back the information that we once had when we were 20.
So what is happening to the epigenome when you're going through those scanners?
Well, so what we found is the biggest disruptor of the epigenome is a broken chromosome, a DNA break. And I don't know about the scanners, that's just an abundance of caution, but an X-ray will damage your DNA, no question. Even going out in the sun will do a bit of that. And we think that the cell's reaction to that break, having to unwrap the DNA from its chromatin, we call it, and then rewrap it, is what eventually disrupts the ability to read the right gene at the right place. So DNA damage is essentially a little scratch on the DVD, and that accumulates over time.
So being out in the sun does that, but being out in the sun also is beneficial. Your body produces more vitamin D.
Yeah, well, so there's also a theory called antagonistic pleiotropy, which is what's good for you when you're young comes back to bite you when you're old.
Ah.
So you might look good and feel good and get vitamin D when you're young, but the accumulation of these scratches on the epigenome ends up, I'm formerly an Australian, originally an Australian. I'm now American and Australian. I grew up in the Australian sun, and I can tell you that, most Australians look older than they should.
No ozone.
No ozone and lack of sunscreen in the 1970s.
Why do you guys have a hole in the ozone over Australia? What's that all about? What'd you do?
No, it's what did the world do? Chlorofluorocarbons.
No, you guys did it.
Oh, sure. Well, hairspray.
Why does it accumulate over Australia? Is there a theory behind that?
It started in Antarctica, and